We'll go ahead and start by introducing yourself.
Okay, my name is Robert Warwick, and I'm a captain with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, previously assigned to the city of Yucaipa.
What key life experiences have formed who you are today?
First thing that comes to mind is growing up playing team sports. I think that was huge. It served me well throughout life, not necessarily skill on a baseball field, a basketball court, or lack thereof, but really working with other people, figuring out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what theirs are, and watching things, move forward as a group is always more successful than an individual.
How did you become passionate and involved in our city?
First involved is I was assigned there. So as a member of the Sheriff's Department, I was assigned as the lieutenant, so the second in command as far as law enforcement in the city of Yucaipa. But more importantly, I think passionate is I would go to different planning meetings and strategy sessions, and I got passionate watching how much other people in the room cared about what they were doing. I've always been passionate about my job, but if you're talking about planning an event in the city or maybe something that's not in my wheelhouse, I would find myself getting really passionate about it by watching other people with, different skill sets that I don't have, being very engaged and bringing stuff to the table that I normally wouldn't.
What are your core values and how are they reflected in your work?
Integrity, doing the right thing when nobody's watching is huge. And I think that's universal, not just for my work. And another thing that's universal, but I think hopefully makes me successful and helps me enjoy my job is respect, and not just blindly respecting, your view or what you're saying, but respect by truly trying to listen to you, understand where you're coming from.
Why is our city a great city?
There are several reasons, and I can get into the leadership and the planning that goes into the city, but I think it really starts and ends with the people that the city government serves. People who live in Yucaipa generally choose to be there.
What causes and projects and activities are you involved in and why?
So in Yucaipa, I was involved in just about, everything. Everything has a law enforcement, or most things I should say, have a law enforcement angle to it.
And how do you collaborate with other groups and individuals to realize your impactful work?
How I really realize if I'm being impactful and what I enjoy most is going to meet with groups who traditionally don't spend a lot of time with law enforcement or who law enforcement doesn't seek out.
What other creators have influenced you working in the same line of work?
His name is Rick Ells, ELLS.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of funny if you look at my career path. I worked in the same jail that he did, and then I went to the same patrol station that he did, and I went to homicide where he did, and then I was the commander of our public affairs division. And all of those jobs, I don't think it was coincidence that I sought after those, because I watched his progression and who he was as a person and thought, I want to emulate that. Whatever jobs along the way helped him get to who he is today, I want to do more of that. So I think it's important for people to have role models and get to know them personally and watch them in action.
What would you recommend I do to become a future creator of a great city?
First, it'll be important throughout is be engaged. Go to city meetings. So if you keep showing up at different meetings, pretty soon you're not just there as an attendee listening, you're there to offer your point of view. And remember, they were all in your shoes at one time. They were new at one time, listening and watching what's going on.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
So that was it. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all your valuable input. It's much appreciated.
Yep, you bet.